The following broadcast is brought to you in association by XP Coffee Company. XP Coffee Company is the fresh brewed coffee made for gamers by gamers. Get amazing flavors like Choco Loco in 8, 12, or 16 ounce bags, or level up and get Illusion, Isolation, Nightmare, or the Majestic Throne blends in light, medium, or dark roast in whole bean, coarse French press, drip, or fine espresso in 12 ounce, 16 ounce, or 2-pound bags. Wow! Shipping worldwide. If you're in the US, go to usa.xpcoffee.co. If you're in Europe or in the UK, go to www.xpcoffee.co. XP Coffee Company, for gamers, by gamers. What's going on, Tannimals? It is I, your host, Brian Tan, and we're here again for the Tanndemonium Sports Show. And with me, as always, is, wow, I was really about to say the pitcher to my catcher, but that doesn't work for me. So let's just say the not fired GM to my Major League Baseball organization, Jackson Law. J Law, how the hell are you?
Doing better than the Mets on that angle, I could tell you that much.
I still remember that Family Guy episode. Oh, this is as bad as being a Mets fan. And it's opening day for the Mets. And the season's over. So yeah, we're definitely gonna talk about the drama coming out of that section of New York. I still refer to the Mets as the guys in Shea Stadium or the Amazing Mets. That lets you know, I mean, that's just me dating myself, but that's okay. And with us in the booth is, of course, Benny the Jet Rodriguez himself, Christian Lathrop. And he'll be in, since he's a big Mets fan and he's a baseball guy. He's going to come in at the end of the show where we're going to talk some Major League Baseball because the news is getting big. And just a quick programming note before we get too deep into this. We are going to be dedicating one of our February episodes to NHL Hall of Famer Willie O'Ree, who will be having his jersey retired by the Boston Bruins February 18th. So we are going to, on the February 16th show, we are going to talk about Willie O'Ree. If you have a subscription to Peacock, I definitely suggest you go there and watch his documentary, Willie, because it's an amazing watch, and it definitely gives a lot of insight on a guy who, sadly enough, is essentially forgotten by, well, casual hockey fans like me who I didn't even know who Willie O'Ree was, to be honest. I had no clue who he was. The only hockey guys that I knew were Pittsburgh guys, Grant Fleur, George Larocque, and PK Subban. And the only reason why I know PK Subban was because I lived in New England for 10 years, and everyone in Boston hates PK Subban. So that's the only reason why I knew about him. And I can't, what's his name? Pelly, whatever. He plays for the Capitals. He's my favorite player on the Capitals. He's the only black guy on the Capitals that I know of who scored the game-winning Stanley Cup goal. But he got a whole lot of flack thrown on him by Boston fans, which everyone else is all shocked. And I'm like, dude, it's Boston.
It's Boston, yeah.
It's Boston. Come on. Everyone tries to make it out like Philly is like the land of the worst fans. It's like, bro, Boston ain't the nicest place in the world either, especially if you a person of color. If you ain't Irish and you in Boston, you're going to have a bad time.
It's like basketball players going to Utah.
That's a good one. But I digress. Well, just real quick, so definitely going to have a Willie O'Ree centric episode February 16th because the man definitely deserves his props, his just due. Absolutely. With that being said, J Law, divisional weekend of the NFL playoffs is over, and this was an amazing weekend for football. I mean, an amazing weekend for football. Let's jump right in, and I'm actually going to steal some of the headlines that we got in our show notes here. Brady and the Bucs, Brees out of New Orleans with a big victory.
Brady's the one eating the W's, not Jameis Winston right now.
Yeah,
even though he threw a bomb. He threw a bomb though.
Yeah,
and then I don't know if you saw it, but it really looked like the cameras caught Brees turning to Winston on the sideline and pointing at him, and it looks like he says, "This is your team now."
Really?
Yeah.
Really? Oh,
so
wow.
Looks like Jameis Winston's getting a second chance next season, which will be interesting.
And I'll tell you the truth, Twitter blew up when Jameis Winston threw that bomb. Twitter exploded. They're like, "Oh, this is his revenge game," and blah, and who? And it's like, Tom Brady's like, slow down. Just because I'm on different team don't mean I'm not still Tom Brady. And believe me, Saints fans, now you know what it's been like being a Steelers fan with Tom Brady in the AFC. This is what happens.
And a Dolphins fan.
And a Dolphins fan. And a Bills fan. How amazing would it be if it were Bills Buccaneers in the Super Bowl? How amazing would that be? But Brady would just come in and he'd be like that, like the bully who, like, you change schools because some kid was bullying you, and then you get on the basketball team, and then your bully's on the basketball team.
Yeah, the only thing that I could equate to that would be if the Raptors made it back to the finals this past year. And because they could never make it because LeBron was out east, and then he finally goes out west, and then you make it back for a second year in a row, and then all of a sudden LeBron is staring at you in the face with a Lakers jersey on. That's about the only thing that could have been.
Yeah. So the Bucs got to win 30-20 in that divisional round. And yeah, I mean, Jameis Winston, when he was on the field, man, he looked good. He looked confident. He looked way more confident than he did as the Buccaneers quarterback. You know, it really looks like that year behind Brees really did him some good. And his because remember, he got LASIK eye surgery in the offseason. So who knows, man? If this does end up being Jameis Winston's team next year, I think that this team could go pretty deep.
Yeah, I'm all for second chances. You know, it wasn't working out with the Bucs, and he just had way too many turnovers. You know, he'll give you 30 touchdowns, but he'll also throw 30 picks.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he'll throw 5 touchdowns a game, and 2 of them are to the defense. But I saw a funny tweet because Brees didn't have that great of a game, and someone said at least with Winston you would have got some points with those 3 interceptions. But the biggest thing for Winston is just his decision making. He's a big meme when it comes to turning over the ball, and you could argue that the Bucs defense, it's the same Bucs defense as last year, but they're better this year.
Devin White really came into himself. Now, last year, there was all kinds of talk. Well, which Devin is going to go first? Devin Bush or Devin White? And obviously, Devin White went first. But honestly, the only difference between the two, as it stands right now, is that Devin White didn't get hurt. Like, if Devin Bush doesn't get hurt, he's having the same year, if not maybe a little bit better.
Mm-hmm. Because
Devin White is the man on that Bucs defense. Devin Bush is the man behind TJ Watt. There is no TJ Watt level guy on the Bucs, but Devin White, you want to talk about a beast. Oh my goodness, man. And that touchdown at that interception, that was just dagger in the heart, man. I mean, Drew Brees, you mentioned it right. Drew Brees didn't have a good game. 19 of 34, 134 yards, a touchdown, and 3 picks.
Yeah. You hate to see him go out like that. Someone that's been in the league, and I talked about this with Anthony a little bit, because it's sad to me because now I'm starting to get to the age where I'm starting to see a transition in the league where it's guys that have been in the league for as long as I can remember and as long as I've covered sports. They're finally starting to retire. Eli, it started off with Peyton. Peyton after their Super Bowl win with the Broncos, he leaves, and I'm like, man, that's an OG right there. That's out the door. Eli leaves, and it's like seeing that guy win a couple Super Bowls, and now this year we've got Rivers and Brees presumably playing their last games. Brees, you almost know it's a fact, just because.
Do you really think Rivers is going to go? Do you think Rivers is done?
I think Rivers does. I think it's been severely hinted at, especially around people close to him. And just kind of seeing the way that they interact, you could really tell that the loss for Rivers and for Brees weighed heavily on them, specifically about Brees. You saw him as he was running back into the tunnel after the game was over, takes that last look back out of the field, and then finally runs into the locker room. And then after the game, when everyone's pretty much left, it's just security and cleanup crew. Brees, his wife, and his kids come out, meet Tom on the field. They're hanging out. They're just chatting it up. Two Hall of Fame quarterbacks, just chatting, and then Brady, does the cool thing where he tosses a touchdown throw to one of Brees' sons, and then they dap up, and then they part ways, and then that's probably the last time that Brees steps on the field as a football player. I'm sure Brees is good enough. He's got a good enough personality, and he just he's got the. He just feels like he's got what it takes to be like an announcer,
There's enough people. See, I respect Drew Brees as a player. I still look at him side-eyed with some things that he runs off at the mouth about. And even when he tries to walk it back, I'm still like, bro, you already said
I'm speaking specifically from a football perspective.
I seriously think that he has enough football knowledge where he'll definitely be in the booth one day.
Yeah,
honestly,
he'll either be in the booth
or
he'll be in the booth, or he'll be like on the CBS or Fox, pregame and
pregame,
halftime and postgame stuff. With other ex-players. He's gonna have a job lined up if he wants.
Oh, absolutely. Well, you look at this guy now, 2020. I think this is probably one of the first years in a long time that he didn't beat 3,000 yards passing. And that's only because he was out for 4 games. He was out for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And as a matter of fact, and we found out now, he's already got a contract with NBC starting in 2022, Sunday Night Football. So he's fine. But he would have had over 3,000 yards passing and probably over 30 touchdown passes if he doesn't have to sit out with injury. But all time for his career, 80,358 yards. That's like, if I recall, I think that's the most all time, is it not? If it's not the most, it's definitely
I believe it
top 5.
is. I remember when he passed Marino couple years back. I remember when that happened.
Yeah. 80,000 yards, 571 touchdowns, and he's only one dude is ahead of Drew Brees for touchdowns, and that's TB12, Tom Brady. And 80,000 yards, that's the most of anyone in NFL history. That's more than Brett Favre, more than Danny Marino. This guy,
he's a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Oh, easily.
Hands down. Even with the one Super Bowl, first ballot Hall of Famer.
And it needs to be unanimous, too. It needs to be.
Yeah.
Comeback player of the year in 2004. He's been in New Orleans since 2006. How hard do you think San Diego are kicking themselves if they let him go? Like, wow.
Not as much as Dolphin fans.
Yeah, because the Dolphins could have had him. And they decided, I think Dante Culpepper is a safer pick.
Yeah. Dante Culpepper.
Culpepper. Whatever happened to him?
He went to Miami and he got benched.
Pretty much. Now, Tom Brady's day
like Cleo Lemon or something, whoever that dude's name is.
Damn. Now, here's the thing, though. Tom Brady statistically didn't have as great of a game, but he managed the game. 18 of 33. So same passing percentage, but he had just under 200 yards passing, 199, 2 touchdowns. And that's the main thing. No turnovers for ageless Brady. Now, how long do you think that Brady has left? I think he might have another 2 years. Maybe. Because he ain't slowed down this year.
Yeah, I think 2 years max. There's something that tells me next year, but if he gets as far as he did this year, next year, I could see him trying to run it back one more time.
Fair enough. Let's stay in the NFC for a moment. So we'll stay in the NFC. The Packers just, man, Aaron Rodgers just made the Rams look. He made the Rams look like they were the Jaguars. 32-18. Aaron Rodgers, 23 of 36, 296 yards and 2 touchdowns. And did you see just some of the footwork that he was pulling off in that touchdown throw?
Yeah. You talking about like which one? Are you talking about his
All I know is that I was in the car because I had a workshop that I had to attend, and that went from 9 to 5 on Saturday. Mm-hmm. And then I decided to go out because I went on a little trek to see if I could get NFL head coach, either the OG or the 360 version. Mm-hmm. Long story short, I came home empty-handed because they had the OG version, but they didn't have OG Xboxes. And I ain't paying over $100 for an OG Xbox, not for one game.
No.
Now, if OG Xbox was like $45, yeah. Otherwise, no. Not happening. So, either way, Aaron Rodgers just lit up the Rams. And you know who the one defensive player that I feel most bad for other than J.J. Watt is Aaron Donald, because that guy has to be strong as hell because he carries that team on his back. Jared Goff is a joke. And no matter who and it's almost like this defense just figures, well, we have Aaron Donald, so we can do whatever the hell we want. And it don't matter because we got Aaron Donald.
Yeah. Well, they didn't have Aaron Donald at 100%.
Not at 100%, no.
He was hurt.
Mm-hmm. And he was still making the offensive line work. If Aaron Donald is healthy, the Packers still win, but it's a much closer game. I think it's like 20-18 if Aaron Donald's not hurt. But with Aaron Donald hurt, they just couldn't do it. Honestly, I mean, I know Aaron Donald is locked in long-term with the Rams, but if they don't get better, he might have to flex some of that muscle and get himself out of there, much like it looks like Deshaun Watson is probably going to be doing. That's just my take.
They need a new quarterback. Jared Goff, not going to get it done. Never could get it done. Like, don't pay attention. Even that year they got to the Super Bowl, he just was not the guy that could take him over the edge. That was all Sean McVay. That was all the defense.
I agree.
You need someone new, but you've got him locked up, so it's your own fault.
Yeah, pretty much. And I mean, and you locked them up for money that's so huge, it's just not even funny. Like the Rams, I think this is probably one of their final years. Like, if they make it to the playoffs next year, they limp in. Because with Kyler Murray emerging the way he is, the Rams ain't going to have it. The Rams aren't going to have roughshod over that division much longer. Anyway, you know what? We're going to pick back up on this. It's time to take our first break of the show. This is the Tanndemonium Sports Show on Vendetta Sports Media Network. We'll be right back. The following broadcast is brought to you in association by Forever Grips. Go to forevergripsgaming.com for all of your affordable gaming accessories. Need new grips for your analog sticks? They've got it. Need to swag up your controller or console, including the Xbox Series X or PS5? They've got it. Need a sweet mouse pad to complete your setup? Go to forevergripsgaming.com now. Act now and use the Vendetta Sports Media promo code VSM15 at checkout to get 15% off of your purchase. That's right, 15% off by using our promo code VSM15. Forever Grips, the best accessories for the best prices are with Forever Grips. All right, we're back, Tanimals. Oh, man. So we're already in the NFC. So now, next week, in the NFC Championship, we're going to have Green Bay, Tampa Bay. J-Law.
Battle of the Bays, baby.
You got Battle of the Bays. And, you know, we'll bring Benny the Jet Rodriguez in on this. We're gonna break it up a little bit. And, you know, we'll have him come in for a little bit on, since I'm sort of jumping the gun. You know what? Why don't we wait? We'll wait and do our championship game predictions. Let's talk about the AFC. Yeah, we'll do that. I'm all over the place tonight. So, Bills, Ravens. I or did I not say that Bills Mafia was going to win this one? They were
We
my
both
pick. They were my pick for the week. And Bills, they went in and they handled business 17-3. And now what's hilarious to me in this game, we had a little bit of silliness coming out of the booth over this game, J-Law. And it kind of made me and it was so much silliness that our own Trey Delbert had to weigh in on Kurt Warner opening his noise hole. Did you happen to catch the Trey's article on this?
I did, yes. I did. And I even watched the video of Kurt, and come on, Kurt.
Yeah, Kurt Warner feels that the elements caused way too much into the factor of the Ravens-Bills game. So much so that he feels that all playoff games should be in domes. And of course, and I love what Trey had to say on this one, that if Kurt Warner doesn't use Charmin Ultra Soft, then it's not good enough for him, because that is definitely the softest take ever. Absolutely right. Nail on the head. That's just a bad take. Like, honestly, why would you want to play your games in a dome? That takes away the whole experience of playoff football. Does it or does it not?
No, it does. And both teams had to play in the same elements.
Yep.
And the whole point, the reason why the regular season matters, is you've got teams that play for home field advantage. And guess what? The Bills earned the right to play in their stadium and their weather conditions and their fans. That's just the way the cookie crumbles, you know, and weather's unpredictable. You know, it was very windy, but it was clear. It easily could have been -5 and 2 feet of snow out there, because it's Buffalo. And we've seen it in the past.
Oh my God. Buffalo, upstate New York, period, it might as well just be Southern Canada. Because when them cold snaps hit, man, it's over. I remember I was in Syracuse for a couple of days. This was years ago. Bro, it snowed like 4 feet. And I'm like, dude, 4 feet? And the girl I was hanging out with, she goes, yeah, light snow month. I'm like, what? Are you serious right now? And then I moved to New Hampshire, and it's like, well, okay, that's a thing. Yeah. And you know why Kurt Warner is all sort of piss poor and pissed off about weather. Because bro couldn't play football in weather. You know it. I know it. He knows it. All of football knows it. Let's just be real.
That's why he couldn't really play well when he was with New York, with the Giants.
Yeah. It's just
this is coming from a dude that played in the Arena Football League and in St. Louis. St. Louis was in a dome. And then he plays in Arizona, and Arizona plays in a dome.
Yeah, pretty much. In Arizona, where there's like no real weather of any kind but hot. Like, is there seriously any other weather in Arizona besides hot?
Just like, varying degrees.
Varying degrees of hot.
It's just, you can put an egg on a rock and it just determines how fast it cooks.
Pretty much. And then, so now Josh Allen, he balled out. 23 of 37, 206 yards and a touchdown. Well, balled out as much as he could with the weather, but I mean, he got it done. And Stephon Diggs, 8 catches, 106 yards and the touchdown. I mean, man, Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs, man, that's the future right there. That is the future of the AFC East right there. Unless somehow Deshaun goes to Miami. But then that makes it even more fun, though, I think.
Yeah.
And then
I'd love to see it. As much as I love Tua, I'd love to see Watson in a Dolphins jersey.
And then the game that I thought was going to be the upset, and it almost was. The Chiefs beat the Browns despite Patrick Mahomes going down with what was said was, he's cleared concussion protocol. Apparently it was like a nerve in his neck that was giving him concussion-like symptoms or whatever, symptoms. But the Chiefs were able to hold off the Browns 22-17, despite Chad Henne just just giving up a touchdown, just giving up an interception.
Miami Dolphin legend Chad Henne. Watch your mouth.
Oh, pardon me.
No.
But oh my goodness, 22-17. I thought the Browns were going to pull this out somehow. I really thought they were, but it's one of those things where, yeah, you beat the Steelers. Now go play a real team.
They played them. I mean,
and they played them.
They had a chance to win it at the end. Mahomes or not, the defense was the same Chiefs defense that's been there all year and was
the Chiefs
there
defense
for last
or
year.
who they thought they were. But you know what? But they did well enough to hold them off. I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
Kudos to the Chiefs defense. I don't think we can trash talk the Chiefs defense too much anymore.
They have decent players. It's just that they're not the greatest defensive players.
That's true. That's true. So, and we're gonna bring Benny the Jet in here now. The stage is set. The championships for both conferences are there. Bills, Chiefs, Pack, Bucs. Let's start off in the NFC. We'll go from there, and we're going to do it like we did it last week. So, Benny the Jet, who you got, why, and who's your MVP of the game? Go.
All right. I think for the Bucs-Packers game, I think I'm going to take the Packers in this one, and I think the reason I'm going to do it is because it's at Lambeau. Brady is Brady is no stranger to the weather, so I don't know how much of a factor it'll play, on his performance. But I think the Packers are rolling. I think they're rolling, and I don't think Brady's going to be able to stop them. I don't know how the Tampa Bay defense they really stepped up against the Saints, but I don't know if they're going to be able to hold off that duo over there of Rodgers and Devontae Adams, and Aaron Jones is tearing it up too for sure.
J-Law?
I got to roll with the Packers too. Like you said, Brady's accustomed to the cold weather. Not sure about everyone else. Someone like Leonard Fournette that's been in Florida his entire professional career. It doesn't even matter that these two teams played early on in the regular season. It was like week 3, week 4. Everyone likes to bring it up about how great Brady and that defense was. Well, you see, the thing is that's the only time that Rodgers has played that terribly this season, and it's because it was just that it was an outlier. It was a bad day at the office. I don't think that happens this week. And I think the fact that Green Bay is letting fans into the stands, you could do a real Lambeau leap. It'd probably break a bunch of protocol. You probably get fined by the league, but you could do it because you got fans there at Lambeau. And I think Rodgers has a big day. I think he goes for something like 3 touchdowns, maybe 250 yards, close to 300 maybe. I think he absolutely tears that defense apart. It's going to be a great game regardless, but I've 100% got the Packers. They're also my Super Bowl pick, so I obviously have to roll with them.
Right. So the forecast in Green Bay, Wisconsin for Sunday, 30 degrees for a high, 21 for the low with snow showers.
Oh, yeah.
Just to give you an idea of what it's going to look like. So it's going to be a balmy day in Green Bay, Wisconsin for this time of year. And you know what? I'm following my pack here. I got the Packers by a touchdown. Devontae Adams and Aaron Rodgers just light it up. I think that they game plan for Devin White. Absolutely. I think Tom Brady, he has ice in his veins, but that Green Bay defense, man, it's quietly one of the best defenses in the league. They don't get talked about that much, and that's a problem. And they're really going to come in and show what's what. Plus, it's not often that you can win in Lambeau during the playoffs. That ain't easy to do. It's not. And Brady might have had his way with the AFC in this time, but I think Aaron Rodgers is ready to say, let's see how you do against me, big guy. Let's see what you got. So I definitely have the Packers winning this one. It's a close game, but I have the Packers going to Super Bowl extra large, or not extra large, LV, excuse me. Sorry, I was stuck in the past for a minute.
Yeah. See, XL, which Super Bowl was that? Was that the one?
That was the one the Steelers.
Yeah.
That was the Steelers.
Yeah, because that was Jerome Bennis's last game because that was in Detroit, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. Good memory. Now to the AFC. Bills, Chiefs. Woo! This is gonna be a barn burner. Benny the Jet. Lay it on me, little man. What you got?
This one is tough for me. I really think this game all comes down to the fact on whether Mahomes plays or not. I know at the moment they said he's uncertain. Like you said, the concussion protocol is good, and it's the whole, tweaked neck. I personally think that the Browns were going to squeak that one out last week if Mahomes didn't throw already for 255 yards and a touchdown, and also ran for a touchdown, or he ran for a touchdown and threw one to Kelsey too. And the Bills look great too, but I think if Mahomes plays, I got to stick with the Chiefs on this one. I think, like I said, Mahomes put 22 points up on the board for his team and then exited, and that was just enough for, Henny to come in and squeak out the win. I think I'm going to take the Chiefs with this one, especially it is also a home game for them too, and they have fans there, as they did last week. So I think that's going to play a huge impact, and I'm going to go with the Chiefs.
J Law, lay it on me, big guy.
I agree that it all hinges not on just the fact if Mahomes plays or not, but how healthy Mahomes is coming into this. How bothered is he going to be? Is he still going to have some sort of symptoms where maybe he doesn't see a defender because, he's a little blurred vision, or maybe he's a little lightheaded, doesn't make the right read, he gets popped again, or, throws an errant pass, misses someone wide open. We don't know how it's going to affect him. I know the Chiefs were hoping to have him back to practice tomorrow, maybe. You could even push it Thursday, Friday. He could get a practice in. They play the afternoon game, or the evening game, I should say. So they got that little bit of extra time on Sunday to make sure that he's ready to go. If he's not ready to go, if he doesn't start and Chad Henne's starting, it's the Bills easy. 100% Bills Mafia. Bring out the tables the second you see number 4 walk onto the field. But if it is Patrick Mahomes, if he's half of the Patrick Mahomes, then the edge has to go to the Bills. But I'm still going to stick with my pick of the Chiefs. I think Mahomes will be ready. But if Mahomes is not at least 80%, then the Bills can take it. They have their chance.
And I'm on board with you on that. Well, you see, but here's my thing, and I've been saying the Chiefs are gonna be the team out of the AFC. But even if it is his neck, that Bills defense is rough, man. That Bills defense ain't playing no games. Honestly, I'm going against the grain here. I'm going with the Bills. I say the Bills go in there, and I think the Bills handle business. Now, if Mahomes comes back and he's 100%, it's a different story. But if Mahomes isn't 100%, the Bills squeak it out. If Henny starts, it's just over. It's just over. But honestly, I think as it stands right now, if they were playing tomorrow, this is the Bills' game to lose. And honestly, I'm going to go with the Bills, though, because Josh Allen is healthy. He's ready to go. Patrick Mahomes is the question mark. We'll see.
See, this is just one of those games where it's great because it's like we get a second Super Bowl for free.
Yeah. No matter what,
that's how good these two teams are. It's like us as fans, like me as a fan, I want to see Patrick Mahomes fully healthy because that's why we're going to get the best game. Now, I'm not going to go as far as Colin Cowherd today and saying that the league should postpone the game so that way Patrick Mahomes can get fully healthy. That's just stupid.
Why?
Completely and utterly stupid.
So should the NFL have canceled that season when Brady was out for the year? I guess the NFL should have just canceled that season. Then.
Yeah, and they should have canceled the games when the 49ers had to roll out with their practice squad and when the Broncos had to use a practice squad wide receiver as their quarterback.
Yeah, and I mean,
they should nullify those games, and whoever won those games should have those records, should have that win scrubbed.
I think Colin Cowherd should just be quiet. I seriously think Colin Cowherd should just be quiet. All right, so we have one to two more little bits of football to talk. And then we're switching to the NBA. You know, some guy, I don't know if you heard him, some dude with a beard isn't going to be playing in a team that he was at before. We're going to break that down. And then we're going to talk a little bit about what's going on in Major League Baseball, because there is some drama. But we will be right back. We're going to be taking our last break. It's the Tanndemonium Sports Show on Vendetta Sports Media, and we will be right back.
Hey, you. Yeah, you. In case you hadn't heard, your favorite Renegade Sports Media Group has its own Patreon. Go to patreon.com/Vendetta Sports Media to support our efforts to continuously bring you sports, gaming, and other media coverage as only we can. We've got 4 different membership tiers. For $3 a month, we'll give you a simple thank you on our Patreon site. For $6 a month, you get a thank you, and you get to become a recruit in Jackson Law's Vendetta University Gaming Series. For $10 a month, you get everything from the previous tiers, a special thank you at the end of our videos, free access to our upcoming Discord chat, and a free koozie after 4 months. And then the big dog, $50 a month, gets you everything from the previous tiers, as well as opportunities for Fantasy League invites, stream gaming, possible invites to mock NFL and NBA draft sessions, a once-a-month Google Hangout, and after 4 months, a free t-shirt. Yeah! Go to patreon.com/Vendetta Sports Media and help us to improve our pledge to bring you the best sports, gaming, and other media coverage.
Urban Meyer coming out of the college ranks, coming to the NFL, back to the NFL. Yeah, he is coming back, right? Because he coached in the NFL before, didn't he?
I cannot recall off the top of my head.
I can't remember either. I could have swore he did. Or maybe it's someone else. I think it might have been someone else. I don't remember. You know
Saban
what?
did.
Saban. That's what I'm thinking of, Nick Saban. That's why. Because you know what? I get Urban Meyer and Nick Saban confused, because you're always hearing those names. You know what I mean? And they've been talking for years about Urban Meyer coaching in the NFL. Every few years, there's always the rumor that Urban Meyer is going to coach in the NFL. Well, rumor no longer. Urban Meyer has left Ohio State and is headed to Jacksonville. And there was an article written on our Vendetta Sports Media website by Mr. Jeremy Rinaldi, asking a very important question. Is Urban Meyer the right hire for Jacksonville? J Law, what do you think? Do you think he's the guy that can help turn this franchise around?
I mean, it's going to take a lot to turn this franchise around. I mean, the job is definitely attractive just from the fact that you have a top pick, you have the number 1 overall pick, and you got Trevor Lawrence just sitting right there. Mm-hmm. And Meyer is the type of guy that wherever he has gone, he has always changed the culture around extremely quickly. I forget. I want to say, and Christian, you can look this up to double check, but I want to say Utah was his first coaching stop, turned that around, and then he went to Florida, turned it around, and then went to Ohio State and turned it around. I cannot remember for certain. It was Bowling Green. Okay. Bowling Green, then Utah. Sweet. Okay. I just forgot about Bowling Green. But it's literally everywhere he's gone as a head coach. He has, from the previous season to before he became a head coach to the next season, it is night and day. And usually after that second year, we're talking about Urban Meyer winning a championship or competing for a championship.
I hear you.
So I think that, you can't go wrong with it, to be honest. Even though they're going to pay him an egregious amount of money, I mean, what does Jacksonville have to lose? And there's honestly no other coach in college or NFL that would be available that has a track record like him. He's literally the best guy that's probably available. And when he left Ohio State, he was an analyst with Fox Sports, but he still knows a lot of the college scene. He has stayed in touch with recruitment and with all the recruits that were coming in, which makes me kind of believe that maybe he figured that coaching, he'd be back coaching in some capacity in college, but he decided to take the pro job for the sole fact that they have the number 1 overall pick and he can get a young quarterback to groom under. It's definitely going to be interesting. I think Urban Meyer has a great chance to just kill it in the draft. Like I said, he knows all the recruits that are now going from college to pro. He has seen them. He's analyzed them. He knows who he wants and whatever scheme, whatever offense, whatever defense he's wanting to run, they're going to fit in. And it's going to be exciting to see. And just from getting Meyer and Meyer going and get Lawrence makes Jacksonville a watchable team next season.
So I misspoke. He left Ohio State 2 years ago. So I misspoke. But yeah, now here's my thing. And we already brought up Nick Saban. Chip Kelly. Rich Brooks. Didn't translate to the NFL game very well.
Nick Saban.
Oh, yeah. Nick Saban especially. Nick Saban, man, he set your franchise back a long time.
Let's go get Dante Culpepper.
The transition from college to the pros is not as easy as one would think. Your coaching style's got to be different. The way you interact has to be different. And and Jeremy brings this up perfectly in his article, is that you're not bringing in your own people. You're getting the people that are already there, and you don't get to control. I mean, yeah, you might have a say. The GM is going to come to you and want your opinion, but the GM has the ultimate say on who they're bringing in. Now, it's nice if the head coach and the GM can get on the same page. And more often than not, they usually are. But sometimes the GM will go with somebody and they'll tell the head coach, hey, make it work.
Yeah. I feel like because of the personality, or not necessarily the personality, but just who Urban Meyer is and just the weight and the respect that his name carries in college, in the college and just coaching spheres in general, I feel like Jacksonville would not want to go get him unless he was going to have, and I don't think he would agree to it unless he had a major say in what the personnel is, where it's more of like he gives the GM a list of players that he's looking at and he's like, see if you can make this happen. I don't know if he would be. I feel like that would be something because Urban Meyer definitely wants control of a lot of stuff. I'm wondering.
The one thing he can't control, Jackson Ball. You got 53 adults in this locker room. They're not kids. They're adults. And a lot of these guys, they're making money. You're not going to be talking to them the way you could talk to them when they were college players. Because all they have to do, they don't like you. Guess what? They can go to their agent and be like, I'm out. And they can make your organization look really bad to the point where nobody's going to want to play there. And then they can laugh their way out the door with their paycheck. And then what do you have? The only people that you can get are these free agents that'll play anywhere. Or you get these draft kids that don't know the game yet. So that is what makes me wonder.
My counterpoint to that would be, again, it's Urban Meyer. Okay. Pete Carroll has had success. He's one of the few names that you can mention that's gone from college to pros and has found success. But he's got a Super Bowl, been to the Super Bowl.
How long did it take him? It took him a while.
It took him a while because he had to build his team. Did you knock your camera over?
Yeah, knocked my camera over. Son of a bitch. Keep talking. And you know what? I'm not going to edit that out either. I'm going to keep it in there, man.
Good.
But no, I mean, you're right.
So what I'm saying is that Urban Meyer is a coaching legend in college football. There's no doubt about it. He won championships at two separate major universities, Florida and Ohio State. A lot of the dudes that are going to be in that locker room, except for the really young guys, and by really young, I mean guys that have been in the league for 2 years or less, they're going to know who Urban Meyer is. If you got guys from Ohio State in there, they've already played for him. You got guys that have been in the league for 10, 12 years. They know him from when he was at Florida. They understand who he is and the weight that he carries. I think that if it was anybody else, unless you're like Eric Bieniemy, and we'll talk to him about him here in a minute, unless you because he's won something, because they know who he is, and they've probably even known him. If they were top recruits coming out of high school, then they probably had conversations at one point with Urban Meyer about coming to Ohio State to play for him. I think he's going to be able to command the respect that he needs.
My only rebuttal to that, Bobby Petrino had some weight behind his name too. So did Chip Kelly. Maybe not to the level of Urban Meyer, I'll give you that. But these guys had some weight behind their names too.
A little bit. And Bobby Petrino, I'm a little bit biased because he left the Falcons, but he came to Arkansas, and that's the most success Arkansas football has ever had since Jerry Jones was involved with the university back in the day in the 60s. But again, Chip Kelly had success, but not to the level of Urban Meyer.
Right.
He has not made NFL players like Urban Meyer has. That's Urban Meyer, Nick Saban, and now to a point now, Dabo Swinney are like the three coaches that you look at. If you are a 4 or 5 star recruit coming out of high school and you're like, my goal is to make it to the NFL, if one of those 3 dudes comes knocking, you're going to go to them because you're going to get turned into a football player and you're going to go pro and you're going to make a ton of money.
Well, do you think Nick Saban is a better coach now than he was before?
Not an NFL coach.
But I mean, just in general, a better college coach. You think he's a better college coach now than he was before?
I think he's a better recruiter, and he is a good coach, and he always seems to surround himself with great coaches.
See, and that's the thing. Urban Meyer's got that too, and Nick Saban washed out. That's my only thing. Time will tell. For Jacksonville's sake, I hope I'm wrong.
Yeah, and we got to give it a couple years because
you got to give it some time.
You got to let it rebuild. I hate it when people after one season or like 6 games jump to rash conclusions. You've got to.
You're right.
Like if Trevor Lawrence isn't doing great to start off with, it's whatever. The dude, has played 5 games. We can't judge a dude off of 5 games in the NFL when he doesn't have a team around him. Same thing with the head coach. We know and we trust Urban Meyer. We got to give him. I would give him at least 3 seasons before you really can start digging into everything, because and it's because of who the Jacksonville Jaguars are. They're in such disarray. Now they have like $100 million in cap to play around with, but you're not going to find Super Bowl winning talent with all that $100 million. So there's no point in spending it all this year. You need to spread that out, try to save some of it, try to use it in the future to try to lure more and more free agents.
You're right. All right. So sticking to coaching, and then we're going to be done with the NFL. Eric Bieniemy, the offensive coordinator for the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, I have here, I'm looking at the notes here, and this is accurate here. Benny the Jet, that he was interviewed with Philly. He interviewed with Philly and Houston. Was it this year or was it last year? Or whenever they had. When did he interview with them?
It's been this year. There's been requests to interview him this year.
All right. But apparently it's looking like now the rumors are going around that Josh McDaniels is going to be the man in Philly. So my question is this, J-Law, what's going on with the diversity in head coaching in the NFL? I mean, granted, now we have a black GM was just hired. I can't remember the brother's name right off the top of my head, unfortunately. Christian, if you can find that for me, I'd appreciate it. But why is it the fact that Eric Bieniemy is cursed with success of Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs that he's not getting hired? Or do you think he wants to stay in Kansas City and maybe be that heir apparent to Andy Reid?
If he wants to be the heir apparent to Andy Reid, he's probably going to be sitting there a while. Although maybe not too long, because Andy Reid loves cheeseburgers, and Andy Reid is a pretty big dude. So those arteries are already having to work really hard.
Damn. That's cold. That is cold.
No, I love Andy Reid. He's a great offensive mind. But I don't know. I mean, it's like I've thought about this. You know, maybe he does want to stay because he's got a for sure thing there, and he's got, you know, he has it easy as an offensive coordinator because he's got Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill and Sammy Watkins and Clyde Edwards-Helaire and Le'Veon Bell. He's got all of these weapons at his disposal. He goes to Houston, he's got nothing. Even if Deshaun Watson was to stay,
all he has is Deshaun Watson. He has nothing around him.
Literally nothing. Not even a defense. Doesn't even have a decent defense. He's got an aging.
JJ Watt is ready to leave.
Yeah. So it's just like, it's a terrible situation. And it's like, if he was going to take a head coaching job, if he got interviewed for one earlier, he should have hopped on to the Chargers or the Jets or whatever. You know, although Jacksonville was they were kind of, you know, like super focused on Urban Meyer, which I forget the name of the rule. Is it the Rooney Rule? Is where it's the Rooney Rule. I'm sure they followed by the Rooney Rule, but you know, sometimes you've got these, you know, these big, you know, these organizations, and they're like, you know, kind of pandering almost, where they interview just so that way they don't get punished for the Rooney Rule because they got their guy, but they have to do all these other interviews just so that way they don't get punished or anything. Mm-hmm. So I feel like Jacksonville was always in on Urban Meyer, and but you know, that doesn't mean that they weren't considering Eric Bieniemy at any time.
Fair enough.
But so that's just always been a sneaky suspicion of mine, you know, especially I think it was like last year when they were, you know, when the NFL was coming up with like social justice reform, things that they could try to do better in the NFL, things that they should have done a while back. But
that's a damn joke.
I know. Well, one of the things was like taking away draft picks, you know, if they didn't, you know, hire or, you know, meet certain criteria. I remember that, but you know, it's whatever. Moving on.
BS. It's all BS anyway. All right. So you know what? Let's bring Benny the Jet in. Let's talk a little bit of baseball. I know said we were going to go to the NBA next, but you know, let's go to baseball. Let's get baseball out of the way now. So, Benny the Jet, your team.
Yeah.
Looks like they got a position open.
They do.
I think the Mets might have to give Trey a call because
we might have to. We need some more moves done, and this doesn't help us at all.
So Jarrett Porter decided. Now he been sending some risque photographs to a female reporter in 2016 and had been harassing her all beforehand. And it looks like now it's coming back to haunt him. Jarrett Porter gone. Axed. Now he had been harassing her already.
Yep.
He had been harassing her already, and now it comes out. Now, is it because since Major League Baseball has instituted this zero tolerance policy, is that why it's come back?
Yeah. So I think so. The story is that this female reporter apparently received texts from him before the explicit pictures were sent, and she ignored them. She never gave any reason to make him think that he should continue reaching out. He then, you know, sent the images that were very explicit, and it seems now that this, you know, news is coming out to the MLB and the Mets organization, and as of today is no longer the GM of the New York Mets. I personally love the response from the Mets ownership, Sandy Alderson, the president, and Steve Cohen, the owner. Immediately terminating him and not letting this carry out any longer than it needs to be. I think the MLB and the Mets really showed that, you know, zero tolerance to any of this harassment or, you know, any abuse towards females of anybody of all, of anybody. So I definitely think, you know, as unfortunate of a move this is, I think this was a great move. And I don't think he deserves to be, honestly, a coach of any higher up position of a team again in the future. The Mets have said this is a wake up call, and you know, he got us Lindor and he got us some other, you know, deals, you know, before he was terminated. But definitely disappointing to hear this from, you know, a guy that the Mets were really excited about. Hopefully be able to bring them some players, which he did, but no longer gonna happen over here.
J-Law, MLB bringing the hammer down.
Yeah, I mean, they're backing up their word. Zero tolerance means zero tolerance. Can't have this stuff. Even though this happened back, like you said, in 2016 when he was a scout with the Cubs organization. Yeah, you can't have that happen, and it means that, and it's not even like one of those stupid things where it's like, like a tweet or something from like 2008, 2009 when Twitter was first starting. He was like, a 12 or 13-year-old kid. These are, this is a grown adult that's harassing a woman. It's unacceptable behavior
especially
at
if
any
she's
level.
especially now. I could see if they had been flirting back and forth, you know what I mean, and then he sent her something and she's like, whoa, 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 I'm just talking, I don't want to see. He could at least say, hey, I misread the situation, I apologize. But if she wasn't leading, if he just got her number and was like, hey, what's going on, hey, and she's like, no, and then he sends it, that's a no-go.
I read something today where it was like 62 unread text messages that he sent before he sent the pictures.
That's not okay. Now,
No.
if you guys are having a back and forth conversation and then you like, maybe
things getting a little juicy in the chat.
Yeah, I mean that's at least something that if you said, hey, listen, I misread the situation. All right, I can give you that. But
didn't he say he was like sending her stock photos or something?
Yeah, he attempted to cover up his explicit pictures with the fact that they were stock photos from the internet. So, recently he came out and he said he admitted to it, but he tried to cover that one up.
It's but if your conversation ain't juicy in the first place,
there was no conversation to begin with.
Didn't seem like it, no.
Yeah.
Very one-sided.
Oh, well. All right, so our last story of the night, James Harden, the guy with the gnarly beard, out. Finally got himself out of Houston. And the Nets and the Cavs are involved in this trade. So for those that don't already know, and as a matter of fact, let me pull it up because I know we covered this in Vendetta Sports Media. I know we absolutely did. So let me just pull it up here because I know it was mentioned. Let me find it.
Mm-hmm.
And I should have already had this pulled up anyway, and I didn't. And actually, your boy Karis LeVert is definitely a winner in this trade.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm gonna look at Alex Chick's article on this because he showcased the winners and the losers of this trade.
Mm-hmm.
So, with that being said, this is how it went down. The Nets sent Jarrett Allen and was it Tyrone Prince to Cleveland?
Taurean Prince
to Cleveland. Karis LeVert and say his first Rodions.
Oh man, that last name I hadn't seen that last name before.
Rodan Kirkalurka Ding Dong. Rodionis Kirks and 3 first-round picks and then 4 first-round swaps to Houston. And then the Rockets got Dante Exum, and then a 2022 first-round pick from Cleveland. And then Brooklyn got a second-round pick. And then Karis LeVert went to I thought he went to Indiana, right?
Yeah, Karis LeVert ended up in Indiana because Oladipo got sent to Houston as well.
Oh, gotcha. All right.
There was a lot of moving pieces in that. It was extremely hard. Like even now, after the dust has settled, you're like, oh yeah, he's there now. Because like I totally forgot that Victor Oladipo got traded to Houston until I saw him in a Houston jersey yesterday.
Of course, Karis LeVert is also indefinitely out because of his kidney. So
yeah, I mean, honestly, that's probably the best thing that could have happened to him getting traded, because there's an intense physical that you have to go through, which includes an MRI, and the MRI found a mass in his kidney. So obviously out, and I'm praying the best for him because LeVert's a baller, dude. I mean, by himself, dropping huge points. I remember watching a game last season against the Celtics, and I mean, I think I can't remember the exact numbers, but it was at least a 50-point game. The guy's a hooper, great basketball player, one of my favorite guys to watch in the league. And so, I hope he gets better soon. Obviously, want him to take his time, not rush anything, but it sounds like that they found the mass in time. Don't know if it's cancerous or not, or, it could just be, maybe like a kidney stone that's hanging out in there that hasn't passed or anything. But, you hope it's not bad. You never wish that on anybody, and especially someone that's so young and has blossomed into a great NBA player and is rightfully deserving of a starting spot on a team. I mean, the only reason why he was playing backup in Brooklyn is because it was freaking Kevin Durant that was starting over him. And I mean,
it don't matter how good you are. If Kevin Durant shows up, you might as well just go sit down.
Pretty much.
So here's my thing. And now it's put on here. Now, Alex picks the biggest loser of this whole thing is James Harden. I mean, not James Harden, the Brooklyn Nets. James Harden is the ultimate winner because he's getting paid. But Brooklyn loses. And I have to agree. Man. James Harden, and I've said it before when it comes to basketball, I don't like these me first players. I mean, even though, Kevin Durant puts a lot of points on the board, he's a team player. You can build a team around him, and he can make use of the team around him, just like Giannis does, just like LeBron does. That's what the greats do. James Harden gets on the court, and it's all about James Harden. He doesn't play any defense. When he had a chance to be the man in Oklahoma City, it didn't work. He goes to Houston. Houston brings in his buddy. They bring in his buddy Russell Westbrook. They brought in Chris Paul. They did all this stuff to accommodate him.
Dwight Howard back in the day.
Dwight Howard too. And it didn't work because James Harden isn't a team guy. So I absolutely agree. Now I was all for it. Now, granted, Kyrie Irving hasn't been playing. So maybe Durant and Harden can do something together. But all three of them? I mean, granted, yeah, the Nets are undefeated. They're 2-0 with Harden so far. Give them that. But over long term, the first night that something isn't going his way, he doesn't get the ball when he wants it. I don't know, man. I don't know.
So first off, I have to disagree with Alex about the biggest winners and biggest losers. Biggest losers are the Houston area strip club strippers, and then the biggest winners are the Brooklyn area strippers. Like, I think James Harden, more than anybody in the NBA, spends more money and more time at strip clubs. In fact, there is a fascinating study that was done last year or 2 years ago and it's the better the strip clubs are in the area, the worse Harden performs.
Because so are you saying then that they should have sent James Harden to Indianapolis?
Yes. Indianapolis, Memphis, Portland.
Dude, Dakota's not going to be happy, man. You're saying his hometown ain't got a good strip club. Oh, man, that's messed up. Oh, my
God.
Oh, man, can you imagine if James Harden were in Miami? The Heat would be done. You would have to blow up the whole organization.
But so, yeah, those are the biggest. Okay, just real quickly, one more thing on that. A Houston area strip club did retire James Harden's jersey. It is hanging up like in the rafters of the strip club because that man spends so much money. But anyway, yeah, they've looked really good. I got to watch their game last night against the Bucs. Bucs have the best record in the East right now. I watched the entire main slate of MLK Day games because my Memphis Grizzlies got the dub against the Suns. That's 5 in a row now. Let's go. Jaren Jackson, Justice Winslow, hurry up and get better. Miss you guys out there. They look good. It's hard to deny that. Now, their defense is obviously their biggest weakness right now, and you didn't get any better when James Harden came there. You're not going to be any better at defense when Kyrie Irving comes back from whatever he's been doing the past week. And you got rid of a really good rim protector in Jared Allen. That's tough to see him go. And but the fact that seeing KD and Harden mesh the way they have over the past 2 games, it's honestly been incredible. It's been crazy to watch them play. And it seems like Harden is playing with a bit more vigor because he's passing the ball more. He's trusting in his teammates.
Whoa,
He's got
really?
Yeah, no. I mean, the dude's dishing dimes out there.
Okay.
He had a 30-point triple-double his first night in a Nets uniform.
Okay.
I mean, it's crazy. The dude
I feel kind of bad because I said I was going to start watching Nets games and I haven't done it yet.
Well, last night was really, really only like the second Nets game I've watched, which the Nets are going to be on national TV a lot now, especially when Kyrie returns. But here's the biggest thing about the Nets is I am curious about what is going to happen with all 3 of them out there on the court.
When they find, are they going to be the next big 3, or are they going to be the big bust? That's going to be
and it's going to take some time. Obviously it was taking a bit of time for Kyrie and KD to mesh together because they weren't playing that great. The team as a whole wasn't playing, too well.
But they at least have their past that they can default to. They can fall back on that. I mean, well, and it's going to be a lot for it's going to be a real test on Steve Nash, rookie coach Steve Nash.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's going to be up to him to keep these egos together.
Yeah, he does have Mike D'Antoni though as an assistant.
True. Very true. So do you think that the Nets are challenging the Bucs coming out of the East, or do you think they fall apart?
I think it's the Nets coming out of the East. They were my pick to get out of the East beforehand.
Same here.
And even though I wasn't really for them getting James Harden, just because I think the perfect mold for the NBA, the way that it's moving, is 2 stars and some bench depth. That third contract that you would normally spend to get a big third star, get some mid-level guys that you can rely on and add depth.
Team guys.
So that way you can rest your 2 stars in a game. You can have both of them out and be confident that you're not going to take them out and you have an 8-point lead. When they come back in, you're going to have a 20-point lead, but you're going to
maintain that 8-point lead.
Yeah, you're going to maintain the lead or just have the lead in general still when they come back in, and you're setting them up to succeed.
I can get down with you on that. Honestly, see, I look at it as this. I think the Nets are going to come out. They're gonna that finals matchup between LeBron and the Lakers is gonna be a good one. Yeah, I'm already crowning the Lakers. I'm already saying it's gonna be Lakers and Nets.
Probably gonna be Lakers and Nets. Yeah.
And honestly, though, I think that that's probably gonna be one of the best NBA finals in a very long time. So we'll see. All right, guys. Hey, that's gonna be it for this week. Please make sure you go to our Patreon, patreon.com/Vendetta Sports Media. We do have a new Patreon. We have the tiers. Check them out because, well, you should have already seen it in the break. Help us out. You want to really help us really hammer into the new year and take our game to the next level. Please do so. Go to vendettasportsmedia.com. Check out the articles we've referenced. Check out that James Harden article written by Alex Chick. Check out the boss himself, Trey. Trey's not too happy with Jackson Law right now and some of the decisions he's been making as a GM in Jackson Law's NFL head coach 09 series. And Jackson Law doesn't care. He doesn't care at all. He said if Trey doesn't like it, he can get his own damn video game and do it all himself. Quit backseat GM in there, Trey, is what he said. Yeah. And most definitely check out, because we got new articles posting daily, multiple articles daily. So check them out. And you know what? Hockey season had the puck dropped last week after our show. So hey, it's time for me to start really getting my hockey shoes on. I'm especially going to have to because Sharon is actually the hockey fan in the house. Sharon's the big hockey fan in the house. So I know we're going to end up watching some hockey games. I'm going to have the game playing while I'm doing my schoolwork back here. So, we'll be talking some hockey next week as well. So, you know what? Yeah, I said hockey shoes, Christian. Don't nobody need you getting on me. It's hockey shoes because I play deck hockey. Okay. Although I can ice skate, strangely enough, I ice skate better than I roller skate. I can't roller skate, but I can roller blade and I can roller skate. I mean, ice skate. I just said I can't roller skate. Lord help me. And now that I've lost weight, I might actually be willing to get on some ice skates again and see if I can ice skate for a prolonged period of time, as long as they got size 15 blades. Anyway, with that being said, this is Tanndemonium Sports Show for Benny the Jet Rodriguez, for Jackson Law. I'm Brian Tan. We'll see you next week.